Like was better.
You can force to pay extra.
Okay, let's continue. Okay, as I mentioned, okay, now let's look into this process. 72 hours for checking and rejection. Okay. For the 72 hours, you can still reissue a new invoice. You can issue, if there's any rejection, you can issue a new invoice. You can issue either a credit note or debit note. Okay. Above 72 hours, if you realize that maybe 1 month later, or maybe a few days later, but the thing is already been recorded, so there's always this credit note and debit note function. So I just issue a credit note. Maybe if there's a discount, I give you a credit note. So there is always a back way. It's not like 72 hours you must do everything. So they give you option. Okay, after that I can because they stated my invoice portal, I can issue invoice, I can issue credit note, I can issue refund, I can issue debit note. So I can do it. So for example, let's say I issue a debit note, they don't agree. Same thing as I can cancel the debit note. So the process is repeatable for all the 4 documents. So it's not that tight in a sense. Okay. As usual, notification. Income tax will inform both supplier and buyer via my invoice portal through email. That means in the email they will embed a link. You can go and click and check. Okay? This includes clearance and buyer rejection request. If it's clear, no problem. If buyer rejection, also they will send you so you know. Both sides will know. Okay? So these are the process, validation, these are the whole one loop here. Then, upon receiving of the e-invoice, you are obliged to share the validated e-invoice with the buyer. So there will be a visual QR code for the validation of the e-invoice. The visual includes a QR code. There's always a QR code. Supplier, then sharing the buyer. Supplier and buyer. Okay, now we're talking about E-Inv. Rejection or cancellation by buyer. If e-invoice contain error 72 hours from validation via my invoice portal. I got the validation, I don't agree, I go back to the my invoice portal and I can reject. Or rejection is usually by the buyer. Okay, reason must be given. Upon initiation by buyer, a notification we send. Just say I click reject, I don't agree. Income tax will send to the supplier. If the supplier agree, I can cancel the invoice within 72 hours. Okay. Cancellation not allowed if either party did not initiate anything. I don't do anything, you don't do anything, so it's just the process is just flow on. Okay, here anything, if there's any amendment, a new e-invoice will be issued. So, but before you issue the new e-invoice, you have to issue a credit note. Okay. The invoice is already validated, but nobody do anything. The buyer did not take any action, or maybe the buyer did not check. The supplier also thought it's okay. So they realized that after 72 hours, cannot cancel, cannot do anything. But I can issue a new invoice. Here, I can issue a new invoice, provided a credit note is issued to cancel the old one. I don't have to cancel the old one. I don't have to cancel the let's say invoice 1. I issue already. Then 72 hours pass already, so the invoice one become like confirmed already. But then maybe supplier or the buyer realize got some mistake. I have to cancel, but I cannot cancel already. One way I can do is I can issue a credit note to offset this one. That means there's a debit, there's a credit, offset 0, then I issue a new one. That's why you call it, I can issue a new one. I miss out the part on the credit note. Same thing also, if supplier, the process is the same. It's only the reverse. If I realize the mistake, I can, within 72 hours, I can still cancel. If after that, I want to cancel, same, I just issue credit note. Then I issue a new one.
So meaning that the supplier already issued the E-invoice, done validate, within 72 hours we can cancel
We
the
can
E-invoice
reject.
without,
We can reject.
as a supplier,
As a
you
supplier,
want
we
to
can cancel. Yes, we can cancel, but with reason.
with reason,
With reason, yes.
then we don't need to issue credit note.
No need.
Only after 72
72
hours,
Yes,
credit
the only
note
way I can think of now is you have to issue, because the invoice is already
confirmed.
confirmed already. I need to cancel the invoice, I need to issue credit note.
Mm.
So these are the flow at the bottom here. Okay, storage of e-invoice. All your e-invoice will be stored at our income tax database. I don't know how big is going to be the invoice database. It's going to be very huge. Okay, but I assume they should be able to handle that, because the income tax, our own personal income tax is also all up in the income tax, all the data. So, however, taxpayer to retain sufficient record for recommendation. Of course, you have to keep a record for 7 years. You have to keep. Best is either you want to keep it in your own server. You need to have a copy in your own server. Or if you don't feel safe, you can have printed. For example, the slide before, the sample of the e-invoice, you can print it out and then you just file it in. It's just a normal invoice filing. That's for the auditors to come in and do their physical checking. Okay, this is step 8. From cloud processing part to the database there. So the database will have all the invoices inside, the e-invoice, the credit note, debit notes, everything will be inside there. So, reporting a dashboard service for taxpayer. And we can always go in and check the e-invoice. They have a summary, they have details, everything. We can just go in and check, because supplier and buyer can request and retrieve an e-invoice. They go in and retrieve. Maybe they want to check, or in future, auditors, external auditors will come, you can just log in there and then let them check. Okay. My invoice portal provides detail like, okay, they have the invoice date, amount, status, what format is it, XML, NGSON, metadata, grid, and PDF. Okay. So these are the flow, supplier reporting. I can go to IRB cloud and then check. Yes, they can both the supplier and buyer can go into the cloud site and retrieve whatever data you have, your past data, your
The
invoice.
data keep in the cloud for how long?
Permanent.
Means that, like if you want
I'm not sure, because they did not mention what, but usually
how
long,
long?
yes. They have to keep for a certain period. We don't know, because our income tax, I worked for 30 years, I got 30 years or what, unless, even if you are retired, you no longer what, they still have to keep. Unless it's confirmed the person no longer exists, then, but usually they will push out, they say they will check with the Jabatan Pendaftaran Negara, siapa yang dah tak ada lah, dia delete lah. But usually I'm not sure that this timeline, I'm in no position to advise. Okay, now this is the complicated part. API stands for Application Programming Interface. it allows direct link of e-invoice via three methods. Direct integration to my invoice portal. Okay, I give you an example. I have AutoCount. I can use the AutoCount to create an API to link to my invoice portal. Okay. The next one is to PayPal service. PayPal service is quite expensive. They have a certain appointed provider in Malaysia. Not many has a license. So there are certain appointed where you have to go through them. They will provide a gateway to direct link to the IRB portal. Through PayPal does not go through my invoice portal. PayPal direct goes to the so-called the income tax. My invoice portal is where everybody can go in and do the checking and everything, but this one is like more like back-end integration. I can direct link. They use PayPal. PayPal is not a software. PayPal is a standard, approved standard of how we do things. It's like as I said, just like ISO, all the one. Then they are also non-PayPal. Non-PayPal, that means not certified, but they can still do the way, they can still do the linking. So these are normally to non-PayPal technology provider. They are basically two, PayPal and non-PayPal. I will not go into detail with that because for our so-called our operation, as long as we have a normal API linked to my invoice portal, is more than good enough. Okay. So you can see PayPal is actually pan-European public procurement online. It's a method of sending invoice to customer and public sector by using a secure international network. They use a secure network. That means if you have why they use this secure one, because in Europe there sometimes when suppliers deal with governments, they do not want so-called third party. They want a secure method, so they come up with this standard. They need a standard to control, to so-called to manage the data transfer. So they don't want secrets to leak out to the public. So they have this secure international network, which is managed by the PayPal. Okay. For API is actually integration and configuration guide. Okay. The Income Tax has released software development kit in their portal there, but this is more for the IT people to go in and check. It's very technical. So they will tell you how to link to their server, what ways how to do it, and what are the methods. It's all they call it under SDK. If you go to this link, they have this E-Invoice software development kit SDK. So like people like press metal, all that, the IT people will be very busy these days to make sure the validation. I think they should be doing some test run now, so-called concurrent running tests. Because they have to check whether their system can talk directly. So the API make sure that all the data is transferred. Let's say if you have 10 data, make sure all the 10 data go through. Otherwise, you're missing data. That's where they have to come in and check. That's why this software development kit comes into the picture. Okay, pre-submission requirements. So we will need a digital certificate to verify the identity of the issuer. So that the architect has their own digital certificate. Okay, next. E-invoice preparation. To configure and engage tech provider to assist in generating e-invoice in TSON and XML. So for our case, AutoCount will come up with how to. I can generate the invoice here, but it has to be another. They have to be able to generate also in another format, so that when you upload to the one, so it will be they only accept two formats, JSON and XML. Most probably, I believe XML will be very widely used. A lot of companies use Excel. I just convert to XML and then upload straight away. Subsequent procedure will be similar to my invoice portal. Process in the preceding slides. Okay, so I'll continue with the next slide. Okay, this is the typing part.
Wow.
When you go to the My Invoice portal, you can see all this. You know how many screens? I counted, I think about four screens. 4 screens for every invoice. So you have supplier number, name, you have buyer's name, supplier name, all this registration number. IC also password they require. You have SST number. If you are tourism related, you have tourism tax registration number. They need your email. They need your MSIC code. MSIC code is actually what you sell. Let's say you're selling oleochemical, they have certain MSIC. Malaysia Standard Industrial Qualification. Then you will have your business activity description. So you notice that San Dabi that day, San Dabi, was it San Dabi? Was it San Dabi? San Dabi sent the invoice thing. We haven't replied that.
FedEx.
FedEx, yes, FedEx. Yeah. Then we have buyer's TIN number, same, buyer also exactly the same. You need to have the TIN number, the registration number, the SST number, buyer's email, address, buyer's contact, supplier's contact number, all these invoice version E-type, the code number, original invoice, the date, all this you need. But maybe not all you need to fill in, maybe not all, but still it's quite substantial because this is only 32. I can, in my next slide, continue again. What? 55. 55. Your tax amount, details of the tax exemption. If you have tax exemption, your tax exemption number, you carry that, SSA exemption, amount exempted from tax, subtotal, excluding tax, including tax, all this net amount. These are more on the billing side. Okay? Your quantity, your measurement, your discount rate, and then your payment mode, payment terms, prepayment amount, they put it. And this is only 55 more. If you have export, you need K1 number, K2 all the export documentation.
K2 number.
K2 number,
Import
yes.
is K1.
Import is K1, K2 number. All those documents required under custom, we have to put it. Custom. So, which is why the integration is very important. Now what they do is, what most of the companies are doing now, they will send out data requirements. All this registration number, your all this official number they send. Let's say I have 10 customers, I send to 10 of them. I need all this number because I have to put it into my database. So once I put it in my database, when I call this customer, it will automatically come out later on. So I don't have to fill everything. But this is provided you, how to say it, you program in your software. So I call this customer, then they have all this. When I generate the invoice, it will automatically take all the details from this customer and then load the record. So I imagine, let's say, I am not sure yet. This I have to check because my invoice portal, if I put in my buyer's registration number, there is a possibility that once, if the buyer is also registered under income tax, you are registered income tax, both of them income tax, the moment I put in the buyer's name, all this will come out automatically. Should come out automatically. That means I don't have to key more. But this I go to double confirm because if both of your buyer and seller are on the income tax portal, I just put the name in, the rest all will come out. So I just need to key in what are the items I'm selling to him, what is the quantity, the transactional data, that's all of it. Okay, next one. We are in the third module now. Third module. Okay. Business B2C, business to consumer. Lotus, Aeon, they can continue their normal transaction. You buy, I issue a normal receipt, invoice. If you don't need the invoice, okay, I give you one scenario. I go to Lotus, I buy something for my house, maybe some groceries or what. I don't need the invoice, so I'll just take the normal receipt and okay, transaction done there. However, if I go to Lotus, I buy drinks for the company, Coca-Cola or that, I will require an invoice. If I don't have the invoice, I cannot minus out from my expenses. So I will require invoice. They will have, which is why if you go to Aeon now, if you go to your checkout, they already post up all the details already. It's actually the receipt is also a e-invoice. So they are smart. I don't have to give you extra printout for the e-invoice. My receipt have all the details that allow it to be also an e-invoice. So what they do now is, however, those customers who require invoice may request on the spot. I can request, but Aeon, I noticed Aeon, others I'm not sure, but Aeon they already done that. I don't have to ask for you for the invoice, then you go and do, no. It's already preset in the receipt. So, but you must request in the same month. The same for, let's say if you go to places like, okay, maybe KK Mart don't have, not so advanced like Aeon. But if you want e-invoice, you have to request within the same month. On the spot in the same month. If you go through the next one, cannot. You cannot ask for e-invoice. Then it's burn. Your expense is burned. You cannot claim for income tax everything.
So we need to keep the details of the company to take it back.
I'm talking about business to consumer. You are the consumer.
We need to claim from.
Okay, I want to claim. Let's say.
How if like let's say I buy the office pantry for the company.
Yes.
So when I'm
okay, what you can do is you can put it under claims. Staff claim, I can issue a self bill invoice. There's always a alternate way to do that. I buy from Lotus the things. I forgot to ask from Lotus the invoice. What I can do is I treat it as a staff claim. Then I claim it. Then the company will issue a self-bill invoice. Simply what? Let's say if our company is like Lotus or Aeon, I can combine all this, consolidate all this, I submit one time to income tax. Let's say I have transaction the whole month, I have sale of 7 million, one shot, every 7 million, one shot, one. But it must be within 7 days of the last day of the month. If you want it. So it's very tight now. So everything 7 days only. You must complete your e-invoice within 7 days.
by 7 management reports go out and also submit e-invoice.
So all these are compulsory to issue invoice. Automotive sale, you realize automotive daily they are making us, they cannot get 100% loan only. You buy a new car, you cannot get 100% loan because of the e-invoice thing. Your e-invoice, those days they used to mark up the price a bit so that you get the loan. Now cannot because it's must exactly match with the e-invoice. So no way you can get full loan already. So flight tickets, charter, jewelry, construction, wholesaler for construction material, license betting, payments of agents, dealers and distribution. All these must require and be issued invoice. Okay, now self-bill, sendiri what? Sendiri issue invoice. These are the categories. Okay, goods and services sold by foreign supplier. Foreign suppliers are not linked to our income tax. We don't have. They are not obliged to send you e-invoice. But how you capture your expense, you issue your own e-invoice. Okay. Payments to agents and dealers and distributors, commissions, all that, you also issue your own e-invoice. Dividend payout. Okay, if the company is listed in Malaysia, you don't issue anything. Okay. Because company listed in Malaysia are exempted. Goods or services acquired from individual taxpayer non-business. As for example, we buy something from maybe Alif got something that you're selling to the company. So you cannot provide e-invoice. So I issue my own e-invoice. I purchase from you this one, I issue my own e-invoice. Okay. Payment to betting and gaming winners. This one exempted because they have not decided yet. E-commerce transaction, you buy things from Shopee, all this, you can issue the e-invoice, your self-bill. Payment or credit to taxpayer recorded in statement. This part is to taxpayer recorded in statement. That's why I need to explain again this one. This one is payment and credit to taxpayer recorded in the statement. Mungkin I think it's referring to our tax credit or maybe our tax refund. They have the issue there. Then I'll check further on this one. Interest payment. We pay interest. We can also generate our own. Say for example, you pay interest payment to maybe you overdue or certain loan or anything. Pay the interest payment, you're allowed to sell the invoice because banks will not. Let's say banks will not issue invoice for all this. Let's say we buy car loan, everything. They will not issue with that issue. Right? They are so-called all these interest payments. You have to do your own self-bidding. Okay. Difference for foreign vendors. Okay, this one when you key in your self invoice and self-bill e-invoice. For foreign vendors, the TN number is default to this number. You have just key in this number, it's standard. Any foreign vendor it just default to this number. Not applicable for details that are not okay. For those details that you don't have, you can put it, you can leave it out. Like for example, maybe their tax number, all that we don't have to put it. Their business registration number, you don't have to put it because we don't have a foreign vendors. We don't have. So, Inland Revenue we also never send any email to these foreign vendors. If there are import service tax, the service tax you added, yes, import. You have import service tax, you add into your. Because if you don't add in your service tax or your import tax or what, it will not capture as a cost. That means you lose out that part. You lose the cost element on the service tax there. So then one you could add in. Let's say I purchase the item for the vendor is 100 ringgit. The tax part is 10 ringgit, 110. So I will add in 100 plus 10 is my amount for my self-bill invoice. So this one you will do. There are a lot, there are quite a number of things you have to be careful.
For a supplier, the currency, so we need to keep in RM.
Currency, yes, you can select the currency there.
Oh.
There is a currency selection there. Okay, for foreign vendors, same. It's a foreign vendors, not material, it's the same as the previous one. Okay, foreign source income. If you receive income from, let's say, maybe a foreign company, timing of the self-invoicing will be 1 month. They give you a grace period of 1 month. Let's say you receive the money in July, and mid of July, the what do you call it? you have up to end August to do this self-bill. They give you 1 month after the end of the timing of self-e-invoice will be end of the month following the month of receipt. I received in July. My deadline is 31st August, 1 month after the month of the month. They don't calculate exact days. Normally, if you can calculate exact days, it will be, let's say July 15, it will be August 14, 30 days. But now they give you a slightly longer period, 30 days after the end of the month during the transaction. That means July, August 31st. The buyer's PIN number will be this one defaulted, standard. Everybody will key in the same number. Not available data, will just leave it as any. They will give you an option to put non-applicable if you don't have any of those details. Again, no emails we send to the buyer. Inland Revenue, they are very smart. Things they try to avoid, they just never mind, they just put non-applicable. Okay, employee requisite is actually your claims, staff claims. Club membership, professional subscription, you can issue an invoice under the employee name, provided there is a supporting document. Let's say if you, the staff is claiming for professional membership, so you get a receipt, then you issue a self-bill invoice for that. So payment to foreign suppliers. Okay, payment to foreign suppliers, you don't have to issue an invoice. You don't have. Self-bill invoice is not required. Foreign supplier is like, this is not supplier in the sense like a vendor, foreign vendor. It's like you pay some services, all those. You know what? Because this one will refer mostly to they have under the other tax, under withholding tax. So it's completely different. It's a different taxation. It's a withholding tax. You pay to foreign supplier for services. You are incurring withholding tax. You are paying in advance, 10% already. So it's not included in the tax computation here.
But payment for foreign supplier to buy goods
Yes.
need e-invoice.
No. Okay, it's like this. You pay. Okay, I buy. I issue my own e-invoice, so I capture the cost. The payment part nothing to do with it. You already expense out anymore. Payment part is a different process. It's a clearing of the AP. Then you get what I mean? So, okay, stuff, same thing also. Stuff then you go traveling. So I assume that the credit card claims will be a lot. Every month all the credit card claims, you all generate self-bill invoice. How many pages? 2 pages, isn't it? 2 pages, Some, what?
Sometimes they go to 3 or 4.
I don't know how you going to put. Can you put in the total lump sum? I don't think so. It has to be. So if you have claims, do you go by claims or you go by individual item? There's also another thing we can consider. I believe we can do one shot. Everything self-bill one shot. Let's say I have 10 claims. I have one staff or 10 items claiming. Traveling, if you're going overseas for business traveling, your taxi, your meals, everything, you should be able to put it into one so-called e-invoice. But then only when we take into the accounts, then you have to split again to the respective account. The purpose is to generate the e-invoice. So you cannot be, let's say I have 10 claims item on every 10 claim items you issue. It's not practical. it has to be one claim, one E-invoice. Then only when once you official the E-invoice, that means it's captured the income tax there, then only you do your accounting distribution, the classification.
Is 10 claim to one invoice?
yes.
10.
10 claim,
Some to one invoice, E-invoice. Same claim to one.
different person.
Mm.
I'm not sure of that. May not work. It's going by employees. But this one we'll let the 100 million companies
First batch.
let the first batch test it out first. Because this is mostly all trial and error. We don't know yet what is the, even I did not think about that. So when we had the presentation presented to us by Inland Revenue, by the tax agent, by custom, and by the payroll provider, this four main person, over one day, we had a one-day seminar. A lot of questions was asked, but this one, this is more related to operational, very detailed. If I were to have 10 claims from 10 employee, can I group together? This one we have to, we can, because in income tax portal there's a online you can ask questions. But most of the time they are busy. So we got to send an email. The best is to send an email. They are so-called chatbot. Doesn't help. Not really. Not really help because too many traffic, too high traffic. So they are not able to answer every question. I tried. I waited for 1 hour. No reply. The automated replies. All the staff are still busy. The same standard reply. Okay. Okay, disbursement. This one, you have to look at the diagram carefully. Disbursement is actually supplier 2. Okay now. Supplier 1 issue E-invoice to the buyer for the goods sold or service rendered to this is the buyer. Okay. Supplier 2 pay on behalf. Familiar, no? I sell A sell to B, but C is the one paying.
Third party.
The party payment. Okay. In this case, this supplier 2 cannot issue E-invoice. Not allowed. They make it specifically. Only supplier 1 can issue E-invoice to the buyer here. So this one will be very careful. This is their ruling, their condition. Okay. Disbursement cannot. Disbursement, the agent cannot. The agent that made the payment cannot issue E-invoice. Okay. However, reimbursement. Okay, reimbursement is different. Supplier 1 issue invoice to supplier 2. Okay, for goods sold. Okay, supplier 1 E-invoice to supplier 2. In this case, supplier 2 can issue what? Okay. Supplier 2. But the difference between these two is that provided if it's direct to this supplier 2, then he can issue E-invoice. This is reimbursement. That means it's a different flow. There's no direct connection between one and buyer. You look at the chart. You look at the flow chart and see if there are any questions on that.
It's like a normal trade or supplier 1 sell to supplier 2, supplier 2 sell to buyer. So supplier 1 can issue E-invoice to supplier 2.
The finance transaction between these two we don't bother. It's a however in the previous one, so we have in this case we got to be careful. In this case if I'm paying on behalf of B is buying from A, I'm paying on behalf I cannot issue invoice. That means there has to be another separate transaction between supplier 2 and buyer. So disbursement, reimbursement only the supplier to the what can issue E-Invoice. Disbursement cannot. Pay on behalf cannot. But these are very rare. Very rare. I'm not sure whether it is common here, but it's quite rare. I pay on behalf. So you think about it? It's like the cop site that day I pay 5,000 then 3,000 reimburse. I pay on behalf. Then I want to claim back my expenses 2,000. Something similar to that reimbursement.
So we should reimburse together.
Even yes, yeah. Okay. Digital signature. These are just the so-called digital certificate will be issued to the taxpayer. So you need to have the digital certificate so they can attach to your invoices. Then it will verify the submitted invoice original. Once you have the digital signature, when you receive an e-invoice for a digital certificate, then we know it's genuine. It's like a passport like that. Okay? And the hash value of the digital signature will be part of the invoice. Remember just now the first sample of the e-invoice? Okay, let's see. Yeah. This one. This one. This is your digital certificate. The number. Imagine how long is the number. So this is it's like genuine. This invoice is genuine. Okay. Let's go back to
We need to make sure that the digital signature on e-invoice.
After verified and the copy will paste together.
Okay, next deadline to be noted. The deadline. Sales invoice we can pre-issue also. Business to consumer within 1 month. Tesco, Aeon, all that within 1 month. Console, let's say if we do a console, okay, business to consumer is, let's say, I want to get e-invoice from Lotus or any, I must ask within 1 month. I must request within 1 month. If like Aeon, Giant also, they want to do their consolidation submission, they must do within 7 days of the calendar month. It means after July, it means they have 1 week in August to do it. Okay. Other income, domestic, fixed asset sale pre-issue. Foreign end of the month. Okay, let's say you receive money from from our customer overseas, you have to do it within 1 month of the receipt. Okay. Foreign income. Foreign income must be 1 month. Self-bill for foreign income 1 month. Okay. So it's going to be like income to you. They record as income. Accounts payable, goods upon importation, goods and services, early of receipt, invoice of date of payment. So this is more like on the spot, the last two, A and B. Okay, before we go to the summary and recap, I will show you the details of the e-invoicing process. Okay. This is actually the official web page in my invoice portal. So what do you do is, when you want to issue e-invoice, you go to new document here. Go to new document. Then next, you select invoice. Once you selected invoice, then you select invoice. Once you click here, you show all. See, you have invoice, you have credit note, debit note, refund note, self bill, credit note, self bill, debit note, self bill, refund note. It's all laid down. You just click whatever you want. Next, you choose your version. The current version is V1.1. Then next, you press start. The moment you press start, an internal ID and time will be automatically generated. Your internal ID is your ID. It will come out. And you have this. You see, basic information. These are your internal ID. Time, issue time, all this. Currently they put as auto generated. So next one, you do add buyers and supplier detail. Your detail and the buyer's detail. So you have two, as usual, these are the fields that require TIN number, SSC registration, tax, tourism tax, email, branch address, phone number, or one part of the 55 fields that you need to fill in. Then you have, yes, these are the fields that go in. On the left side is the supplier. On the right side is the buyer. And you have all the details inside that. Phone number is SST registration. Once you've done that, you click continue. Okay. This is what you need to fill in. You have to fill in your MSIC code, your business activity. On the buyer side, these are the things that you need to fill in. Banyak kan? Example these are the example on the right hand side. ID number, tax number, number of the name of the company, SST, email, address, country, everything, state. And these are all mandatory. You cannot choose not to fill. It's mandatory. If you don't fill, it won't move to the next. Once you've done that, okay, you can choose Malaysian ringgit, USD. They allow you currency. Okay. Then you add line. Oh, add line is for your items of your things that you sell. Let's say you sell 5 items, you will add 5 lines. So once you add the line, then you begin. Classification code, product or services, the product tariff code, quantity, price, discount. Then classification code, what are the things you sell, computers, disbursement, donation, foreign income, sell, bill, all these education fees, goods of consignment. Next will be classification codes, product services, tariff code, quantity. There is a lot of information you need to put in.
Tariff code is like the for the custom use one, the HS tariff code.
Yes, HS tariff code. Then you have exemption, when your product services, product tariff code, quantity, unit price, sales amount, discount description, charge rate, charge description, what is amount exempted, reason for exemption also you can put in. Quite extensive, then these are the following. Then to add in the tax. These are the text portion. And you go down again, you have text type, text exemption. Just imagine you have to do this if you have hundreds of invoices. Oh. Well, that's where the API comes in.
We
What?
can use both or choose API or
Okay, usually it works like this. If you don't have API, you go direct, you key direct. You don't do partial. Some transaction you do API, some transaction you do manually. If manual, you go all manual. If API, all API. Because API will take whatever data you put in your software to go in your auto count, your Oracle, what you take from there. So you cannot have mixture of both. It's either manual or API.
But if you use auto count under API, the self-bill how to do?
This auto count will build itself. Basically, auto count will build the whatever data that we need. Exactly as the self-bill all this. They have to do that. Whatever that is required in the income tax, there is self-bill or all these things, or credit note, debit note, all will be replicated at the auto count here. So you do only one time, then once it's done, it's automatically up there. So you have to get the auto count people to come in and they should be able to demonstrate. Yes. Then, okay, once you've done that, if you want to add items, you just put add here. Okay? Then continue again. So these are the billing frequency, payment modes, everything, bank supplier, everything, and the bank number, all. But these are not all because you notice it's not they did not put there compulsory. Shipping agents, shipping information is also required, but they did not mention that it's compulsory. Okay. You look at that, all this particular number, kit,
Wow,
form 2.
funky also.
Yes. These are sample, the sample of the one. You see, you have basically five tabs here. Basic information, supplier and buyer, line detail, 9 items, additional information. If you have additional information, you can put in. Then the last one will be, you can review. You can review everything done, you sign and submit document. Here, sign and submit. They also require password. Tell me your password. It's like your income tax when you finally, once the last page you submit, similar to this. Then they will come up with this ID number to verify your password, everything. Documents we provide according to regulation issued by LHDN based on information is correct. Exactly the same as our income tax submission. Then you press submit. The last one will be documents submitted. Any questions so far? Information overload then? Actually, this course can do full day. Those that do full day, they will actually log into the test environment. They have one test environment, they call it sandbox. In the income tax, there is a sandbox. It's a so-called control environment where you go in and play with figures inside. They will go in and test. Normally they take one whole day. These are more or less general information that what you need to know. What are the workings around it. So go back to our slide here. These are just, if you want to have this, I can send to you, but it's also downloadable from income tax. You just type Google E-Invoice Malaysia, you come out in the portal there, then in the portal they have introduction, everything. They also have announcement, latest announcement, and they will also have the link to question and answer. They have links to the sandbox. Sandbox is actually a controlled, fake environment where you can put in fake data waiting for you to play with. They call it sandbox because children's play sandbox or something like that. So you can do that. Okay, now I have to do a summary and recap. Yeah. Okay, basically, as I mentioned earlier, there are 3 modules. 1, intro. Module 2, mechanism. Module 3, process. Okay. And if you notice, in most of the training methods, we will go by module. You can have 10 modules, you can have 11 modules. Those training that goes for 2 days or 1 day, modules will be a lot. 5, 6 modules, each module got sub module and all this. And I have some even 2.1.1 sub. So basically is we talk about introduction, what the invoice is, what the government is trying to achieve, what is expected of the taxpayer business, what they are expected to do. Then they will tell us the benefits. Of course, the benefit is automation or quicker, but dependent on how we look at it, it can be also quite tedious. As I mentioned, some companies they are not equipped. So then, of course, the non-compliance 200 ringgit or 20,000 for each transaction. And deadlines, basically, our deadline is 1st January 2025. Okay. Then you have the documents that is required, the 4 documents: invoice, credit note, debit note, refund note. Sectors involved, of course, the kings and queens, they are not affected. Those are exempted. Then the mechanism is basically 2 ways only: auto or manual. Manual, you go into my invoice portal. Auto, you use API. But API also got 2 methods. Use the PayPal platform or the non-PayPal. Okay. Usually the established company multinational, they will go for PayPal because maybe they have a certain standard, certain requirements. Okay. There's a invoice about invoice field 55. 55. As I know, they did announce that the fields required is reduced. Even though they put 55, the amount, the required compulsory mandatory fields, they reduced about 30 plus now. So we can, but still a lot. So reduce, and in terms on the non-compliance, they give the assurance they will not penalize so fast. They will still be lenient. That means there is, Malaysia ada budi bicara. Okay. Next, the process. Process B2C, your self-bill, your foreign vendor, your foreign source income, employees claim, and always remember disbursement and reimbursement. Disbursement, if I pay behalf, no way, I cannot issue e-invoice. Then your digital signature. Okay, now the things that a company should look for when you go for this invoice. First, technically there should be engagement with the IT side, because this one, the main department that's handling this will be the IT. Secondly, the sales, supply chain, and finance. These 3 departments are also very deeply involved. So what we suggested, I'm talking in terms of big companies, multinational. What they do is, the process starts like this. They will have a committee. The committee will involve IT, finance, supply chain, of course sales, including the management will be the overseer. So the few things they have to determine what's the budget. See where's the budget. If our budget allows for API, then we go for API. Then they also got to look into the volume. First of all, we got to look into volume. If your volume is small, no point spending the money to do all this API, because API is not cheap. If your volume is high, no choice. Because in the long run, the API investment will more or less cover that. And training of the staff, very important. This is why I'm doing this now today. And technically, I would say that we will not require any API, but if we can have API, it's better. Okay? And the awareness, the do's and don'ts, what you can do, what you cannot do. Basically, is the dates to comply. When is the date? 1st January is the deadline for the 25 million to 100 million, the threshold there. So, prior to that, also after that, they have to do testing. They have to test whether the system works or not, the linkage is correct or not. It's like the bridging, the bridge. Can it bring all the data across or not? You might have holes here, holes there, then gaps here and there. So these are the things that you have to consider. Especially companies, big companies like which have, as I mentioned now, we have hundreds of invoices coming in, and invoices coming in to check within a certain time, and also invoices that we issue out. So this requires quite substantial manpower, additional headcount, additional resources, money to put in. So it's like, for example, like corps secretary side also, when you issue invoice, you have to issue. At the moment, I don't think it's the volume is so-called require you to do API automated. You can just go in and upload. But you must know what information you need from the customer. Yeah, which is why now latest there was Pushpakong, those people who send their cars to Pushpakong to check, they have to bring their TIN number, because Pushpakong will issue E-Invoice on the spot. So if you don't give a TIN number, you cannot do inspection at Pushpakong.
Pushpakong not a government body. They still can issue.
Yes. Pushpakong is not a government body. So you have to bring your TIN. You bring your car or your vehicles to check. You make sure you give them your tax identification number. So things are changing now, and then you will see more and more companies sending us data to fill, data sheets to fill, because they require our information to send us the e-invoice. But always make sure that whatever they send, you must have for the time being, get a hard copy first. They will send you a hard copy. They will send you a PDF format on that. It's a requisite. You can't avoid that. Okay, finally, at the beginning there I put a learning outcomes in it. What you expect to learn, the three steps. This one. Okay. Understanding what e-invoicing is, clear view of the process, and implication it has on the business. So, last slide is also a review of all these learning outcomes. Okay, hopefully you all should be able to get a full understanding of what is the requirement, what's the benefit. Even though the benefit seems to benefit the government more than the companies, but it's a compliance thing. You have to do what you need to do, and then of course you must know the knowledge and the flow. So basically, there are few flows on how to go about it. Issue on the bottom, get approval, then send to the buyer. That's the main process of it. Of course, in the process you have rejection, you have cancellation, you have debit and credit notes. Then different transaction, how all this self-bill and consolidated e-invoicing. There are a few sectors that they are still looking at. Like again, the gaming sector also, they have not decided yet. How do you, gaming sector, when they sell the number, so they buy the number, I have to give an e-invoice to every person who buy the number. So they are still thinking how to come up with a mechanism. Imagine the number of people buying the 4D Sport Toto or that. How is the e-invoice? They have to issue the invoice because they receive payment. They have to issue the invoice for the purchase of the number. I'm selling you the number. I'm selling you this number, the total number, 4-digit number, all that. I'm selling you, but how? So that's why they still currently under consideration, no decision made on that yet. And of course, the implication on the business. Implication on the business will be so-called they will have more automation, but I believe the cost of running business will go up. Additional headcount, definitely. You need to check. You will check, you will verify, and they have a certain time period. If the company is not so, the management is not so tight about accuracy or that, yes, you may make a mistake. You just correct it the next one with the credit or debit. But usually this one works two ways. The buyer and the seller have to do their part. The buyer also to check. So like Nick said, this is a good idea. We can issue a pre-invoice. Issue a pre-invoice first, agree, then only I submit on the so-called portal there. That will resolve the problem of cancellation, problem of credit, problem of 72 hours. Also to solve the weekend, the long period there. So any questions? I hope this training has been an eye-opener, which is also a good practice for me. Because I see this, because I always like to teach. Even my previous place I teach my staff how to do automation on the Excel, pivot table. So yeah. Any questions?
In the my invoice portal and API, the ID one is maybe can give to how many people in.
I did notice the ID side, they do give multiple IDs to go in. You cannot have one fixed ID. If the person is on leave or what, then how are you going to do your submission? There's always a additional person. You can add on. You can add on the one.
how do we assign the ID?
Income tax with assign ID. You have to apply to add in.
That means like me and let's say that me and Alma have to apply with IRB to have ID to control
access,
do,
yes.
do access for OBTEC,
With that, yes.
my
My
portal,
invoice portal, yes.
my invoice portal.
Yeah.
If the invoice wiki is maybe same, so they can detect this is the same invoice or cannot, maybe we double key, they cannot detect.
Double keying. But you have invoice number to control.
Also can key the invoice number.
Yeah, you key the invoice number.
I think what you mean is like maybe you already key it, but I don't know. Then I have to key again. Whether the system can detect or not.
If there's a repeat, there is a ID number there for every invoice. Okay, this is something which was not mentioned about double keying those things. I'm sure there is a control mechanism in terms of the identifier number there. They must have thought about this because otherwise you can test what you can always go into the same one. If they see the same customer, everything also the same item also being what, you will flag something like this one has been, if they are checking and tracing are good enough. Yeah, I can check it out on that. Because I know they are allowed to have a few person in charge of access the portal. You definitely cannot rely on one person to have to be multiple person.
So like the supplier already issued the e-invoice to the buyer accept, so it automatically become a cost for the buyer. So the buyer don't need to do the purchase e-invoice by themselves anymore.
Your invoice to your customer is the expense invoice.
So means that they don't need to take in the expense invoice.
They don't have to take up in the, okay, for example, let's say you issue invoice to people also issue invoice to you. So you automatically capture in the what? In your portal there, your so-called online online tax computation. Your profit and loss. Basically your online profit and loss. You have sales, you have expenses. Your expenses is the invoice that people issue to you.
So I have to make sure that I issue the sales e-invoice. Because the purchase is the supplier already
Yes.
business.
Yes.
So how about the...
But then also you have to be careful. Sometimes how fast or how efficient are they in issuing. So you may have expenses that occur this month, the next month only they issue it. There is a possibility.
Yes, definitely. Because if we have a local purchase, some is we purchase on, let's say, this month end, but after done the loading and everything,
Come next month.
because next month only,
yes.
but then we only issue the sales invoice.
Yes. Sales invoice. Then you to income tax, I think they are not so strict about the what, but for our our own control, we need to do the accounting entries, all the accruals.
Closing, stuff like that. So means that
Eventually at the year end, we can always check cross check my invoice portal there, how many invoices that we issue, how many invoices that we receive, and tally back. There will be difference, because depending on our supplier, how fast they are. So timing difference will be there. There will be timing difference.
then on our monthly loan repayment, rental that we pay out, so all these like self bill. Rental also self bill.
Unless if you pay to RT, then RT will issue meter. Then when I think about it first, digest it first, don't get so like you cross the bridge and you
No pressure.
no pressure.
Now on that we have only received foreign income and pay out to foreign vendor. For those deposit,
Pay out to foreign vendor normally when you pay out to foreign vendor you have invoice.
we have performa invoice only.
Then
It's
you
just a
can-
performa. This means it's like a sales order only. It's not a contract.
Okay, the thing is income tax record absolute value of your sales and your expenses. Your payment there you will not
Because like just now we said
pay,
that
the payment on your invoices you will not really do into that unless you pay for a service that is external service that you don't there's no invoice coming in. You pay, but you need to record as expense. That means there's no invoice coming in. I have to issue self invoice. But if you are buying importing, you already got the whatever performance invoice, then it's already taken out. So the payment side they won't question on that. It's your payment for services. Let's say you pay for foreign services, I need to capture that as my expense. So I have to issue self-bill. I have to self-issue an e-invoice. Because there's no document that comes in. Even, let's say, foreign vendors, you importing some, you still need to bill e-invoice.
They still need to give us an invoice.
No, they give you invoice, but you have to self-bill.
Self-bill.
Yeah, import you have to self-bill. No choice, you can't run away. And you pay, when you pay, let's say, okay, you have to understand there are two parts of this. First part is you buy, you are paying things that you buy. When you're paying things that you buy, of course, when you buy the things that it was. The second part is you are paying for services. If they are the so-called, for example, like Facebook, they will not issue an invoice to you. You're just paying an invoice. I have to issue a self-bill invoice. Then I pay to Facebook this amount. So that's the part that you know understand the flow there. Self-bill comes when there's no document, not available documents, or maybe you have then you have to, let's say for example import things. I have to self because I'm not getting an e-invoice from the vendor, foreign vendor. I have to what? Same thing also. Let's say if our foreign service provider like Facebook, even though if they give you a notice of you need to pay this, I still need to serve e-invoice. Because it's not a digital, what they give is not a digital e-invoice. I still need to self-bill. So self-bill is like when you don't have, when there's no official e-invoice coming in, mostly it will be external, import. Whether it's services or goods, you have to issue.
Okay. Then for our foreign outsourced income, like just now they got a deadline.
30
From
days.
the receipt date is a month end. We receive a deposit from the customer, but the shipment only will be done maybe 2 months later or 3 months later.
Okay.
So the deposit amount we have to issue a self-bill invoice first.
No need. You bill when you complete the thing.
I only bill when complete the thing.
As I said, that's not the. You're confused with the payment from deposit is deposit. Payment is like payment for services, completed services. I pay, I self-bill invoice. For deposit, I receive, I don't have to e-invoice that first. I e-invoice when I completed the thing, yes. Yes, complete the shipment. That means I take whatever, when you complete the shipment, you have to keep do all these things, you have to fit that in. In fact, this invoice, if you talk in terms of the custom side, it's even more complicated. I did not want to go into the custom side. This one will take another half a day. Custom side, okay, this is for sharing only. The ex-director general of custom made a statement during the presentation time. He said, this will be a very challenging process to take up. E-invoicing is very challenging. is even more complicated than GST. So he's the one who handled the GST. He was the Director General when GST was implemented. So he's very well versed. So he's comparing between GST and e-invoicing. So from the mechanism of these two comparison, e-invoicing will be very complicated. It's not easy. It's not as for GST. It's just if you pay, you recover, you pay, recover, you pay, recover. So the process is quite direct. You have credit, GST, you have credit, and whatever you can still recover back, you pay back all these things. But here is like we're talking about the complete process of the tax computation. So it's very complicated. So let's see, 1st August, next one we see a lot of write up in the newspaper, people will write, people will comment. So for those who are implementing it next month.
So next month start, since our company only start on January, so from August onwards, I believe we will start receive the e-invoice from our supplier and FedEx office.
Yes.
So upon we receive the notification, what should we do? We should act like we also start practicing like going in to see the invoice and accept.
Yes, you can go in and
Start accepting.
so like you go in and check, you can accept or you reject or what.
But they need to take action, accept.
Or if you find you cannot access, you don't have access in it, you find something wrong, you communicate direct to the FedEx there. They will let them do the work. Understand? Let them do the cancellation or issue a credit or debit note.
But she still need to accept, right?
You need to accept. The moment they come in, already it's like, okay, they say it's done already, you don't agree, maybe you overbill or what, you communicate directly. They should understand because we are not implementing it. We are not in the on the portal yet. We are still in the process. So they have to do the correction themselves. So they will go in, they will cancel or they will issue credit note or debit note or whatever. I believe FedEx will come in. FedEx is 100%, 100 million above.
Yeah.
And how are the others? Mainly FedEx only or others Korea.
Now currently, mainly is Korea.
Mm.
So our others supplier is depend on order.
Even order, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Any more questions?
Jadi by the time kita nak implement the invoicing, kita pun dah kena start minta client information.
Semua information semua.
Coming up, we need to send.
If you want sample, boleh minta dengan Agnes lah. Kita dah ada FedEx dah hantar, lepas tu ada itu apa tu?
Tax pada dan
但是你要 build 它的，你要听它的 info。
它是属于 Facebook 的是属于 foreign。
But when you still self build, you need to key in all the information also.
But some people, let's say I mentioned some of the, if it's foreign supplier, there is a
Certain field.
E1100 30 or 20. The ending is 30 or 20 default. And then information that you don't have like no email, nothing, no address, I'll just leave it back and not applicable, not applicable. You will understand because you don't have all the information, so they allow this exemption. We still issue the one. It's more for you to capture your expense. You don't want to issue, so can. When you lose out on the, that means you'll be earning more profit. They are happy or you're earning more profit. They pay tax more. So this self-bill is just, I believe a lot of companies will do a lot of self-bill. Yeah.
Only the sales and purchase part need e-invoice. But audited only self-bill.
Only for local lah.
Only for local.
But itu local purchase.
Local purchase, but you export out to the foreign customer. So sales part you don't do self-bill.
You can go in quickly, have a look at the Okay, this is the My Invoice portal. They have about invoice benefits, overview, implementation, guideline, or SDK. This is where the software development kit is. This is mainly for IT people to go in and check a lot of, there you can see a lot of things inside the API. Okay, all the documents, these are very technical. All these are mainly for the programmers to handle. Then you have, okay, this is the main portal, my invoice portal. Okay, just now I mentioned there is a sandbox. This is the sandbox. They put it as a pre-production mytext.hustle.gov.my. This is the actual one. This is mainly for those people who have to official. August almost they will go inside here. But you can go inside here and have a look. You need to key your IC number. The day I tested Andrew one, but I did not proceed because I don't know what's the effect of it. You can put in what you can do is you go in, you put in your own IC number. It's a sandbox, no worry. It's a playground for you all to play with. You go in and then you just your IC number, then hantar, then Andrew's IC number is what? We test card pengenalan. Andrew's IC number 74 2727 10 5545.
Semua dua orang sudah.
Tidak wujud.
There, CJ digital tidak wujud. That means dia kena apply. He has to apply a digital cert. Yes, pilih salah satu kaedah yang dulu mereka. You go to here. There, I reach up to here and they not they not
This one sent to my email.
send the email. Okay, can here
This one have to get the digital.
yes.
Macam kita
Permohonan.
dalam mytext lah.
Sebab dia, Mr. Andrew sudah ada my tax mah. Dia sudah ada, dia ialah taxpayer lah.
So you don't continue, I just leave it as it is. Don't continue first. Then you will come to here. First time login.
Pembayar cukai perlu melengkap orang CD50
Ready. So up to here, I didn't want to proceed. This one we have to check with the.
I think we need to log into Andrew My Tax, select Omicat Pacific. I think and then
Because
need to assign the representative for Omicat Pacific.
you have to check that one.
Otherwise, we
So
need
this one
every time need to use his ID to.
I have to
log
come
in.
up this one, I have to come up first. And then do everything. So that's why I tried to go in, I'm stuck here, I didn't want to go further. Because you want to play with the sandbox, then these are the what?
First time and company representative. I know like for company when submitting the form E, then need can assign a representative.
Yes.
So for my invoice is the same. Also.
Same, yes, it's the same.
So Andrew as a director of the company, he have to log in and assign all the company representative.
So we'll see how the 100 million guinea pigs.
Ulang lah doktor. Kalau terlibat kan ulang lah.
So good luck to the company director, you know. All the director have to log in, assign.
So imagine the stress on the IT side, the stress on the finance side. I think I got to retire first lah.
Please don't retire first.
Okay, any questions? Now we shall
currently no.
So if there's no more questions, I shall conclude the session today. Hopefully you get something. I also learned something. I learned some feedback, which makes my mind thinking, oh, okay, can work that way. So essentially, training is not only I train you, the trainer also get feedback. The trainer also learn something, because we learn from each other. That's the concept. So there's one thing that I learned from the one person who trained me. He always say the trainer is always the cucumber. The trainee is the durian. You understand? Trainee is the durian, the trainer is the cucumber. So we have to bear with it. We will encounter different types of trainee, different character, all this. Some will be very nasty, so he always advise, we are the cucumber, you just absorb. Okay. So I just thank you for your time, thank you for coming to this session. I appreciate what I will be handing out the feedback form and the attendance list later for you all to sign and do the evaluation. Then I think so we end it here today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next, that's a good man.
Between 25 to 100.